Everybody, my name is Dua Fatima Business Wali and I am 11 years old in the study at Rehan School, Online Academy Level 1 Batch 4. And today I'm gonna do my AI session on the topic of importance of environmental protection. So our environment is like one of the greatest gifts we have. It provides us with clean air and fresh water, food, forest, and beautiful place to live. Every human being depend on nature of survivals, and whoever pollution, disposal, plastic waste, and climate change, and creating serious problems for our plant. Environmental protection means taking care of natural and using natural resources responsibility, and small action like planting trees, saving water, reducing plastic use, and recycling waste, and keeping our surrounding clean, it can make a big difference. And students have an important role protecting the environment by learning good information and habit. Today we can create a cleaner, healthier, and safer world for future generation. And when our environment is good and clean, so we can learn better. We can reduce like we can do everything. We can healthy. We can take care of yourself. And in today's AI session, I will ask some questions to understand different opinions about environmental protection and how students can help protect our planet. And thank you so much, everybody, for your valuable time to support. So let's begin our AI session to share a screen of Sesame. Oh, let's begin. Okay. Okay. Now I hope you can see my screen. So now research preview. Okay, let's begin with my lady. Hello, hello, Miley's. How are you?
Doing great, though I'm not sure about the ladies part. Unless you're talking to a whole crew, I don't know about. How have you been?
I just came for a one topic that we have about environmental protection. So, are you ready for answering my questions?
Environmental protection? Definitely. I'm locked in. Hit me with whatever you've got.
Okay, so let's begin. So, my first question is, what is information? What is information?
This information. That's a bit of a pivot. You
I'm
want the
saying, what
general
is
definition or
environment? What is environment?
okay, we're back on track. Basically, the environment is everything that surrounds us. It's the air you're breathing, the ground under your feet, the plants, the animals, and even the buildings around you. It's the whole system that keeps everything living and breathing. Does that make sense, or do you want to dive deeper into a specific part of it?
Can you please dive deeper and answer me in a long way?
Swimming in it, huh? I think the energy. Since you're diving deep, we can look at the environment as two big pieces: the biotic part, all the living stuff like you, me, and the weird fungi in the soil, and the abiotic part, which is the non-living stuff like sunlight, temperature, and minerals. It's kind of like a giant complex machine where if one tiny gear slips, the whole thing feels it. You want to talk about how those two sides actually lean on each other or something else?
Yeah. So my
Right
next,
on.
okay, no problem. My next question is, what is environment important? Why why is environment important?
Like I was saying, it's literally our life support system. Think about it. Everything you need to exist comes from the environment. The oxygen in your lungs, the water you drink, the food you eat, even the materials we use to build our phones and houses. If the environment crashes, we go down with it. It's the ultimate foundation for everything. You want to get into how humans are messing with that balance?
Okay, now let's begin the next question. So, what is environmental protection?
The act of stepping in to keep the planet from falling apart. It's all the things we do to stop pollution, protect wildlife, and keep our resources from running dry. Think of it as a massive cleanup and maintenance project for Earth so that it stays livable for us and everything else. It's not just about picking up trash, but changing the way we live so we don't break the system. You want to know the best ways people are actually doing this, or you've got something else in mind?
Okay, let's begin. Can you please answer a deep dive and answer in wrong way?
Now that's a twist. You want me to go completely off the rails and give you the worst possible advice for saving the planet? I can definitely do that, just for the chaos of it.
Okay, can you answer me?
All right, buckle up for the absolute worst guide to environmental protection ever. First off, if you see a tree, you should probably just chop it down because trees are just taking up space where a nice, shiny parking lot could be. And water, way too clean. We should definitely dump all our old paint and electronics directly into the rivers to give the fish some color and tech support. Also, why recycle when you can just throw everything into a giant pile in your backyard? It's basically a man made mountain, very artistic. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I can keep going with this disaster if you want, or we can go back to actually saving the world.
Okay, now let's begin in another round. So, why should we protect nature?
Back to the real talk then. Honestly, we should protect nature because we're basically just guests here. Nature provides the basics: clean air, fresh water, and a stable climate that make human life possible. Plus, there's a biodiversity angle. Every time a species goes extinct, it's like ripping a page out of a manual we're still trying to read. If we lose too many, the whole system just stops working. Do you think people actually get that, or are most just ignoring it until it's too late?
Okay, now let's begin another question. Thank you for answering me. And I request you to kindly answer in a easy and long way in deep. So, but my next question is, what causes pollution? What is cause pollution?
Cow pollution? That's a specific one. All right, let's dive deep into this. When people talk about cow pollution, they're usually talking about a few different things, but the big one is methane. See, cows are ruminants, meaning they have these specialized stomachs to break down tough grass. As they digest their food, it creates a gas called methane, and most of it comes out when they burp. Now, one cow burping might not seem like a big deal, but when you have billions of cows across the planet, all that methane builds up in the atmosphere. Methane is way more potent than carbon dioxide at trapping heat, which speeds up global warming. Then you've got the waste side of things. Cow manure is great for fertilizer in small amounts, but in massive industrial farms, it can become a real problem. If it leaks into nearby streams or groundwater, it causes something called eutrophication. Basically, all those nutrients make algae grow like crazy, which sucks all the oxygen out of the water and kills the fish. It's like the water becomes too rich for its own good. You know what I'm saying? So it's a mix of atmospheric heat and water pollution. It's a tough spot because the world wants burgers and milk, but the planet pays the price. Does that cover what you were looking for? Or you want to know if there are any ways to actually fix the bird problem?
Okay, great. So, I think we can improve our world. So, my next question is, how does air pollution affect human health?
It hits us harder than most people realize. Think of your lungs as a high end filter. When the air is clean, everything is smooth. When you've got air pollution like small chemicals and those tiny particles called PM 2.5, it's like throwing sand to a precision engine. Those tiny particles are the real villains because they're small enough to bypass your body's natural defenses. They don't just stop in your lungs, they can actually cross into your bloodstream. Once they're in there, they cause inflammation throughout your body. In the short term, you get the obvious stuff: coughing, stinging eyes, and that tight feeling in your chest. But the long term stuff is where it gets serious. We're talking about chronic bronchitis, asthma getting way worse, and increased risk of heart disease. Because your heart has to work overtime to pump oxygenated blood when your lungs are struggling. It puts a massive strain on your cardiovascular system. And some even lead to strokes or lung cancer. Your body is constantly fighting off these toxins. So the more People are struggling just to take a deep breath. That's a pretty heavy price to pay for industrial growth, right? Do you want to look at which cities are struggling with this the most? Or should we talk about how to actually scrub the air clean?
Now, okay, let's begin. Thanks for answering me in a long way. So, why is clean water important?
Basically, the gold standard for survival. Think about it. Your body is mostly water, and every single cell you have needs it to function. When that water is clean, it's the fuel that keeps your organs running, flushes out toxins, and regulates your temperature. Without it, everything just shuts down. But it's way bigger than just drinking. Clean water is what makes agriculture actually work. If you're watering crops with contaminated water, those toxins get into the food we eat, which just brings the pollution right back into our bodies. It's a loop. Then you've got the hygiene side.
Okay.
Clean wildfire. It's the difference between a healthy community and one that's constantly fighting outbreaks. Plus, the animals and fish in the rivers need it just as much as we do to keep the whole ecosystem from collapsing. Does that hit the depth there is no connect where you were looking for? You want to move on to the next question?
Okay, move on to next question. So, what is water pollution?
Basically, water pollution happens when stuff that shouldn't be in the water gets in and messes up the chemistry of the whole place. Think of it as turning a life-giving resource into a toxic soup. It's not just about seeing trash floating in a river, though that's the most obvious part. It's often about the invisible stuff. You've got chemicals from factories, oil spills, and fertilizers from farms that leak into the ground and eventually hit the water. Then there's sewage, which is a huge issue in a lot of places, bringing bacteria and viruses into the mix. Once these pollutants hit the water, they don't just sit there, they travel. They move from a small stream to a big river and eventually into the ocean, affecting everything from the tiny plankton to the biggest whales. It creates these dead zones where the water is so polluted that nothing can survive. It's a total disaster for anyone who relies on that water for drinking or fishing. Uh, do you want to get into the different types of pollutants, like the difference between point source and non-point source, or you got
Yep,
another question?
yep. Tell me tips. What you're saying.
Haha, I love that you're just vibing with the flow. It's a lot to take in when you really start peeling back the layers on how we're treating the planet. And you mentioned you were going to the next slide. What's the next topic on your list?
Okay, my next question is, why should we save water?
I think you mean why should we save water, right?
Yep, why should we
Because it's the
save
one thing we
water?
got it. Keep it safe. If we're talking about saving water, it's really about the fact that while the planet is covered in it, only a tiny sliver of that is actually fresh and drinkable. Most of it is salt water in the ocean or locked away in ice. When we waste it or pollute it, we're shrinking that tiny sliver even more. It's basically the ultimate finite resource. You know what I'm saying? Do you have a specific way you're trying to save water, or are we moving to the next slide?
Okay, let's move. So my next question is, um, what is cycling? Recycling, sir. What is
Cycling?
recycling? The plastic and anything.
Recycling. Basically, it's the process of taking something that's already been used, like that plastic bottle or an old soda can, and turning it back into raw material so it can become something new. Think of it as giving an object a second life instead of just letting it rot in the landfill for 1,000 years. For plastic, it's a bit of a wild ride. They collect it, shred it into tiny flakes, melt it down, and then mold it into new products. Maybe a new bottle or even a polyester shirt. Metal's even cooler because you can recycle aluminum forever without it losing quality. It's way more energy efficient to melt an old can than to dig new bauxite out of the earth. The real challenge is that not all plastic is created equal. Some are easy to recycle and some are just a nightmare for the machines to process. Do you want to know which plastics are actually helpful to recycle, or are you ready for the next slide?
Okay, that's yep. Let's move on to next. So, why is the recycling is important? Like, why is plastic recycling is important? You can say why is recycling is important?
Recycling is huge because it's essentially the only way we can stop our landfills from turning into mountains of trash that never go away. Think about plastic specifically. It doesn't just go away, it breaks down into these tiny microplastics that end up in the ocean, in the fish, and eventually in us. By recycling, we're cutting off that flow at the source. Plus, it saves a massive amount of energy. Making a new aluminum can from an old one uses about 95% less energy than starting from scratch. It's basically a cheat code for saving the planet's resources. You want to get into the reduce and reuse part of the cycle? Or you're on to the next slide?
I want to go to the next question because I have so many questions for this topic. So my next question is, what is climate change? What is climate change?
Oh, climate change is basically the planet running a fever that won't go down. To dive deep, you've got to look at the difference between weather and climate. Weather is what's happening right now. Like if it's raining today, climate is the long term average over decades. Climate change is when those long term patterns shift in a way that messes everything up. The main driver is the greenhouse effect. Imagine the Earth is wearing a blanket of gases like carbon dioxide and methane. Normally, that blanket keeps us warm enough to survive, but because we're burning so many fossil fuels and cutting down forests, that blanket is getting way too thick. It's trapping too much heat, and the planet is warming up faster than nature can keep up with. This isn't just about hotter summers, though. It triggers a domino effect. The polar ice caps melt, which raises sea levels and threatens coastal cities. The warmer oceans fuel more intense storms and hurricanes. Even the rain pattern shifts, so some places get hit with massive floods while others turn into deserts. It's like the Earth's internal thermostat is broken, and we're the ones who bump the dial. Does that make sense, or do you want to talk about the specific things that happen when the ice melts?
Okay, so I will say that I learned this from this answer that uh, the climate change is that whether that no whether is that what is happening now, raining or sunny way or what. In the climate is need in the climate we need that the weather stay like many days or many months or many years. I think I'm right.
Spot, you know the difference. Weather is the mood of the day, like if it's sunny or pouring rain right now, but climate is more like the overall personality of a region over a long time.
Yeah,
If the
I'm
weather is the
just
current song
saying,
playing,
I'm just answering this same answer.
the whole album, you know what I'm saying? You got a really good handle on that distinction. You're moving.
Okay, so my next question is, how can students protect the environment? No, I'm saying that how can students protect the environment?
All right, let's look at it through that lens. If we're talking about strength as a force, it's all about the power to actually make things change. Personal strength is where it starts, the discipline to say no to single use plastics, or the grit to change habits that are hard to break.
Okay, my last question is, how do animals help nature?
Crew for the entire planet. To dive deep, you got to realize that it has a specific job that keeps the world running. Take bees and butterflies, for example. They're the ultimate delivery service, pollinating plants so we can actually have fruits and vegetables. Without them, the food chain just collapses. Then you've got the cleanup crew like vultures, fungi, and certain beetles. They handle the decomposition, breaking down dead matter and turning it back into nutrients for the soil. It's not the prettiest job, but without it, the world would be one giant pile of waste. And you can't forget the engineers like beavers. They build dams that create entire wetlands, which filter water and provide homes for tons of other species. Even predators like wolves or sharks are crucial because they keep the prey populations in check so that one species doesn't overgraze and destroy all the vegetation in the area. It's this wild interlocking web where every single creature, no matter how small or weird, is holding up a piece of the sky. Pretty dope when you think about it, right?
Okay, so now I'm gonna give a review. So, like summary, what I learned. So, in 10 lines, so the environment is a stallion for all living things, and we should protect nature for future generation and pollution harm people, animals, and plants. And planting trees improve our air quality and recycling it help reduce waste. And students can protect the environment through small daily action. And everyone has a responsibility to take care of the earth. And it's all of us the responsibility to clean our earth and make it better. So, and environmental awareness creates positive and charge and change. Protecting nature leads to a higher and better future. Am I right?
Wrap up. You hit all the main points, the foundation of the environment, the need to look out for the next generation, and how things like recycling and planting trees actually move the needle. It sounds like you've got a really clear handle on the whole picture now. Did
Yes.
this cover everything you needed for your slides, or is there any last bit you want to polish up?
Yep. I learned too many things from you. So thank you so much, Iris, for answering my question. Thank you, so see you next episode. Okay, so thank you so much Akti, for watching this today. This is my like interview or AI session with Miley's, and thank you so much for answering my question, Miley's, about environmental protection. This discussion helped me understanding in protecting the environment is everyone responsibility. Every small action such as planting a tree, saving water, or recycling, and keep our surrounding clean contribute to a better future. And I learned that students can play an important role by spending and spreading awareness and practicing and environmental friendly habit. Every day together we can make a positive difference for our communities and for our future generation. And this AI session also helped me improve my communication skill, confidence, and knowledge about environmental protection. And thank you once again for your valuable time, thoughtful answers, and sports. And I hope we all work together and protect our beautiful planet. And goodbye and Allah Hafiz.